The Chapter 9 promo spoiler panel of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex is here, and we have Boruto versus Kawaki, and it's good. And in today's Boruto stream, I'm going to break down the panel and explain what this means in terms of the chapter and how this affects the power scales in Boruto. But first, if you guys like the video, please take a second to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Alright, let's get into it. This has to be the best promo panel we've gotten so far, right? I'm trying to think of what would be a better promo panel, and I honestly can't remember. Maybe the flashback panel with Sasuke and Boruto, but I don't know. I really like this one. We got Kawaki firing chakra rods at Boruto, and the young Hyuga prince dodges it effortlessly without missing a beat while staring him down and closing the gap. And Delta is there too, just like, what the hell am I gonna do against this Otsutsuki god? This scene gives major Sasuke to Naruto at the beginning of Naruto Part 2 vibes. And to all of the Kawaki fans out there, relax. He's got plenty of development and power creep coming his way, including Bojutsu and permanent karma mode. Kawaki's time is coming. In the meantime, let's just take a second to enjoy the Uzuhiko himself, the goat sage, Otsutsuki Boruto. And the biggest question is why? Why would Boruto be approaching Kawaki when Jura is attacking the village? And I think we have two solid explanations, and I'm going to explain them both and tell you which one I think it is. The first explanation is that Boruto is approaching Kawaki because he needs his help. Himawari is in danger, and Boruto knows that if push comes to shove, Kawaki will risk his life to save Himawari. I don't love this explanation. To be honest, Boruto knows way too much about the Shinju to risk Kawaki getting hurt or killed in this battle. Even if you want to make the argument that Boruto has seen the future and knows that Kawaki will survive, it just doesn't make sense for him to go get Kawaki. There are still multiple people at or around Kawaki's level that Boruto could approach instead, including Mitsuki, Daemon, and Delta. Plus, why wouldn't Boruto in the interest of time just teleport to Himawari directly, help her escape, and then help the other Konoha shinobi evacuate, and then handle from there? Something feels off with this logic, and I think the next explanation makes a lot more sense here. That explanation is that Boruto is trying to get Kawaki out of there. He knows how important Kawaki's life is, he knows how big Kawaki's ego is, he knows how bad Kawaki's anger control issues are, and he's both trying to save Kawaki from the Shinju and trying to save the village from Kawaki. So then what, is he just hanging Himawari out to dry? No, I think he's probably going to help Himawari. He may have already handled that at this point, or maybe he knows that they won't attack her. But there's also a third possibility, that Boruto just wants to chat with Kawaki. That this has nothing to do with the action going on because it's happening at a different time, right? And that maybe there's something larger happening that Boruto needs Kawaki to be aware of. I think there's definitely a possibility of this, but I don't know why Boruto would choose this moment in time to communicate this info as opposed to earlier when Kawaki was headed his way. Based on this panel, it's pretty clear that if Delta and Kawaki had managed to find Boruto earlier, they would have gotten done up like Mitsuki. Best case scenario. And that leads me right into the second half of what I want to discuss today. Because now we have significant new information in terms of feats to explain where Boruto and Kawaki are in strength in comparison to each other, as well as Jura, Hidari, Daemon, Naruto, Sasuke, and Ishiki. And where is that exactly? Well, I've seen a good number of people online say that Daemon is still stronger than Boruto because he caught Kawaki's chakra rods in chapter 74 of Boruto Part 1, and because Boruto only dodged them. This faction of the Daemon fanbase is clinging to this feat to say that Boruto is weaker than Daemon. But I think I have a pretty solid counter to that argument. I think Boruto with the stare down dodge on 8 spokes Kawaki's chakra rods in this chapter is actually a bigger feat than catching the rods on 2 spokes Kawaki in chapter 74. And my proof is actually when Jigen fires rods at Kashin Koji. Because at that point, Jigen is at 10% of his total power, and the rods are slow enough for Koji to just straight up dodge them. So when Kawaki is attacking Daemon in chapter 74 of Boruto Part 1, he's actually at a significantly lower amount of Otsutsufication, and therefore a lower amount of chakra when attacking Daemon than when he's attacking Boruto with all 8 spokes in what appears to be full Otsutsufication. And for the record, I don't think it's just the amount of chakra you have that affects the speed of the rods. I also think it's probably how many spokes you have. And we have some evidence of that too. And by the way, we're talking about Boruto in base dodging Kawaki's chakra rods. You can make the same argument that Kawaki's rods get faster in Karma mode, but I don't think that's true because if you don't suddenly get more chakra when you're in Karma mode. In fact, Kawaki runs out of chakra in chapter 79 of Boruto Part 1 because he used up too much chakra in Karma mode, and Sukune Hikono in chapter 78. So what does that mean for scaling Daemon? I think Daemon is right around where Boruto is at in terms of speed and strength, but I think it comes down to the fact that Boruto simply has a lot more jutsus at his disposal that we know of, as well as the fact that Boruto has at least one dojutsu available. He's got Momoshiki's Byakugan, he's got the Jogan maybe, and also some have speculated that Boruto has a Rinnegan in his left hand. That being said, Boruto versus Daemon is the biggest question mark we've got, because we know that while Boruto might have better stats than Jura, he's at a disadvantage solely because of the fact that if Jura devours him, everything is lost. So Boruto has to fight more one-dimensionally against Jura than he does against Daemon. So then am I saying that Jura is stronger than Boruto and Daemon? That's where it could legitimately be a toss-up. I think that Jura has a significantly higher fight IQ than someone like Kawaki, but we'll see how he stacks up with Boruto and Daemon though. Daemon seems to have a lot of hubris, so that could affect his fight IQ. That's something that could be his undoing against someone like the Shinju. We may even see that in chapter 9. But as far as Boruto versus Jura goes, based on what we've seen out of Jura and what the Ten Tails abilities are, I think we give the edge to Boruto. And lastly, for the sake of this promo panel and the sake of this video, where does Delta stack up against these guys, based on the information we've got so far in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex? I saw somewhere that people had a theory that Delta had been Otsutsukified using a karma because we didn't see flames coming out of her feet when she was flying with Kawaki. I'm not buying into that. It's very possible that Ikemoto just forgot to draw it, but in the spirit of everyone and everything being accurate, let's just keep in mind that Ada can also fly, and she doesn't have jetpacks on her feet either. There are no serious theories that Ada has a karma implanted, so I honestly think that it's just plausible that Amato made upgrades to Delta in the last 3 years. So now Delta can just fly like Ada. And by the way, there's even a moment in chapter 8 where Delta is complaining about Kawaki's sudden stop while they're flying. If she could really fly like Kawaki, would she be having trouble keeping up? Probably not. But what do you guys think? Does my reasoning for why Boruto would be approaching Kawaki make sense? How strong is Boruto versus Daemon and Jura? Who is the baddest hombre in all of Konoha right now? Let me know in the comments, and if you haven't already, please take a second to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Alright, thanks. Toodles.